for Nerdy for 30, the podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish things for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. the Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the People's Champ, Tim Keck.
If you feel it, chase it, baby. What up, Fat Bears?
What up, Fat Bears? And today, we're talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And Tim, can I tell you that when we were about to start recording this, I got so excited when I realized we were talking about this and not the Odyssey. I think for some reason in my head, I thought I was talking about the Odyssey all day. I was trying to pump myself up, but I can't stop thinking about this movie. And when I realized that I get to talk about it again with you, thrilled, totally thrilled.
I have not seen the Odyssey yet, and it doesn't feel like I'm really missing anything. Is that okay to say? Is it okay to say that I'm like not necessarily missing out on too much with the Odyssey? I think people, whenever they're like, well, it looks great, that's when I'm kind of like, I don't know if I care as much about this movie. You know, any movie that's like you got to see it in IMAX, I'm like, I don't know. I like seeing things like Spider-Man in IMAX, where you definitely don't need to see it in IMAX, but then you get to see it in IMAX. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I would be more likely to go see Spider-Man in IMAX, having already seen it, than I would to go back and see Odyssey again in IMAX. I'll say one thing, spoiler free about the Odyssey, and then it's on to Spider-Man. You've heard me say this, I think now twice, but I love the analogy. The Odyssey is like watching a rocket launch where nothing goes wrong. It's undeniably impressive, and it just kind of happens. You know, exactly what you expect to happen happens, and then you leave the theater.
Yeah, there used to be less rocket launches. You know, growing up, it was like once a year, and now it's literally every month.
Adelaide Beach.
Every month in my town, they're lighting up the beach. People don't even go outside anymore. People don't even look at the sky anymore. That's how many things they're shooting into space. I don't know what's happening with them. You ever hear that thing about the satellites? How they're just like floating out there? That we just got junk just orbiting the Earth all the time. All these satellites that didn't work out or they didn't come back for it. We're just launching trash into space. I feel like that seems like all we're doing.
Tim, you know what? I don't want to go to space. They showed me a preview at the end of this movie that Spider-Man's apparently in space. I don't want to go there. I want to stay in Manhattan with Spider-Man. You're talking about these rocket launches.
You don't want to go to space with Spider-Man?
I don't want to. It was fun one time. I don't want to go back to space with Spider-Man. I'm going to stay here. This is a blast.
It's great.
Would you believe, in the spirit of people aren't doing rocket launches anymore, would you believe that in the 24 years since the first Spider-Man movie came out, we've had 11 total Spider-Man movies?
Wait. Are you talking Tobey Maguire one, or are we talking Tom Holland?
Tobey Maguire one. The first Tobey came out in 2002.
Yes.
It is now 2026 with the advent of Brand New Day. In between there, not counting the Avengers movies, I guess there have been 9 in between. If we include the boundaries on either end, there's 11 total Spider-Man dedicated cinematic releases.
Yeah, because he's in Infinity War and he's in Endgame. As I would say,
Civil War,
a big player, and he's in Civil War.
If we bump it up to that, then yeah, we have 14 total Spider-Man appearances.
And he's a featured player in those. You know, Vision has Age of Ultron and then just kind of floats in the background until he shoots, you know, Rhodey out of the sky. Otherwise, he's just hanging. There's a lot of silent actors in these. You know, he's definitely a bigger impact than Black Widow in Civil War, where she's just kind of hanging out and then zaps somebody and then gets beat up.
Oh, no question. They so clearly were thrilled to introduce him in Civil War that I think you know what he does? He gets the Jean Grey bump in that movie. How we have an introduction in Brand New Day that they were clearly so excited about. And you might wonder, why do we have to introduce this character in this other piece? But then when you see it executed, you're like, you know what? That was actually really well done.
This is awesome. And this is what I think Superman did really good. Man of Tomorrow, where it's just introducing these other characters, has different people that we already recognize and could be in their own franchises, kind of passing through this world. It's cool that he hangs out with the Punisher for a minute. It's cool that he sees Florence Pugh. It's cool that he sees the Hulk. Like, these are fun things. It's exciting. It's cool. And then when you go and see Hulk in the next thing, you're going to be like, oh, well, we're back to kind of savage-ish Hulk. We're done with this Dr. Hulk or Bruce Banner Hulk thing we're doing. That'd be cool. The Hulk really hasn't had a movie, and he's had a crazy character arc and a lot of stuff happening. Does he still have a son? That's a question we could ask.
Oh, Jesus.
Or was that just a random one-off? I don't know. There's just it's fun. It's fun to see all these people, and it's fun to do all this stuff. And Spider-Man is clearly the most successful movie thing they are doing at Marvel. For whatever reason, I was seeing that the comic books have kind of sucked. People aren't as into the Spider-Man comic books anymore. But when it comes to a movie,
it's been a tough ride.
And a single character having a movie, Spider-Man is still the guy. The guy.
Yeah, man. This is incredible. So I love Tom Holland's take on Spider-Man so much. Every single piece of what you hear about his dedication to the role, the fact that we've been watching him grow at this since he was like 20, but he looked 15. We feel like we've grown up with this guy. He clearly has such a love for it when he'll talk about the stunts that he's doing, the lines that he's improvising. He improvised the line where he touches Aunt May's grave and says, "You'd be happy to hear that I've decided I'm not going to do this alone anymore." He improvised that. This man is in character. He was talking about some of the acrobatic tricks that he pulled from the game. Can you imagine being in a role like this? What, like playing the Spider-Man video game on PlayStation, seeing some of the things I have the character doing, and not just having the wherewithal to be like, okay, cool, game recognized game, I'm going to use that in the movie, but also being a good enough like acrobat to be able to do it. Unbelievable. Like this guy he's the perfect Spider-Man. He's fully got the crown at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm so glad, because with how fast this movie made $1 billion, I don't think Sony is letting this guy go anywhere. He's said that he wants to play Spider-Man as long as they'll have him. He's talked about passing off the mantle to Miles Morales, but like, dude, I would not be sad if we got a Wolverine level of Spider-Man movie appearances out of Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
I was just going to say he's the new Hugh Jackman in this role, where they are just not going to let him go. I think I was talking about Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship, and it was just kind of like, I think they go the distance, man. I think they're the new Goldie Hawn and what's his face? Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Because the biggest burden to a celebrity relationship is the fame, like the fame flipping, the weight of fame flipping in that, like Ryan Reynolds was jealous of how much more famous Scarlett Johansson was than him. That's an old example. But when one part of the party blows up, like when Chris Pratt is suddenly more famous than his partner, he gets divorced and marries a Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
Tom Holland, Zendaya, it seems like, is just going to keep giving us stuff. And she's great. We all love Zendaya. And Tom seems very aware that Spider-Man is his thing.
Yes, he's like Thor. He's like Chris Hemsworth and Thor.
Where he's like, I think he's going to keep doing this. I think he genuinely loves it. And I think he understands that this is who he is. And so if you have two actors like that, where Zendaya is Zendaya and Tom Holland is just, really soaking up and making the most of this Spider-Man role, I feel like there's longevity written all over this to me.
God, I hope, man. There's like real love in her eyes when she looks at him in interviews, and you love to see it. The kids are happy and you just want them to keep being happy.
Legendary hang. I feel like, I think he's reaching a, who'd we say? Aquaman? Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, Momoa. This was a great take. You brought this up after we saw the movie on Saturday.
I think Jason Momoa is obviously a legendary hang because he's done things in movies that are so embarrassing and they keep letting him do it and everybody loves it. People talk about him like he's amazing, and then they have him in The Flash falling in a puddle and stumbling over, and you just know the director on set was like doubled over laughing at this dumb bit that Momoa's doing. He's got to be a legendary hang. People like the guy. Tom Holland, it seems like every co-star he has like genuinely loves Tom Holland. Him and John Bernthal, amazing.
Oh,
amazing. They're so fun.
Shit.
He has chemistry with Mark Ruffalo. Tom Holland as Spider-Man has legit chemistry with every single person in this thing. I mean, I saw him in Unjustified or whatever, and he's with Mark Wahlberg or something. Not great. Not great. When he's not, Tom Holland as Peter Parker has chemistry with every single person in the movie. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He was born for this. This is his thing.
So my Tom Holland take that I think I've said on the show before is that it became immediately clear to us that his Peter Parker is him doing a Michael J. Fox impression. When we watched the movie Teen Wolf, there was something there with him that I couldn't quite put my finger on back when he first started off that just seemed familiar. And then more so even the Back to the Future, when you watch Teen Wolf, it is like, this was the thing. This was the reference point. And he's just bringing that, like, that pure likability that gets somebody to cross over from a sitcom star to a movie star. He's bringing that heat with every single thing he does. I rewatched Far From Home last night. He and Jake Gyllenhaal, I mean, my God,
Best
I know they had
buds.
like a brief romance around that movie, but like, you can tell every single second of it, you can just read that chemistry between them on screen. I remember hearing that his screen test with Robert Downey Jr. is what got him the role in the first place as Peter Parker. And then the fact that I think it was Bernthal's Punisher audition that Tom Holland helped him read for. And he may have been reading for Spider-Man at the same time they helped each other with the part. But you just know that they met on some other film that they were doing and they just hit it off because he's just the fucking dude.
Yeah. I mean, having them together, I did not see the Odyssey. They were both in the Odyssey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it seems like they got along there and then they got along here. Tom Holland has to be a legendary hang in Hollywood. He just has to be.
Yeah, man.
I did want to say something watching this movie. I famously anti-trailer, the trailer's capitalism trying to ruin the movie for you.
I wanted to ask about this.
I did not see anything for Spider-Man.
That's incredible. So you're on record here. You saw literally no trailers. Like, had you seen the Hulk on a poster? What was the most that you knew going into this?
I knew the Punisher was going to be in it. I just heard that. You pick it up on Reddit. I'm trying not to see anything. Had to figure out the Punisher's in it. I knew the Hulk was in it. I just picked that up through the grapevine.
It's just out there.
Those are the things that are out there. It's hard to avoid these like celebrity cameos. I didn't know about Florence Pugh, but I don't think she's in the trailer. So I don't think people necessarily knew about that. I did not know anything else about this movie. I thought maybe for whatever reason, I thought Scorpion could be in it. I was kind of hopeful that Scorpion would be in it. Didn't know anything else. I saw the poster. I thought it's going to be him fighting the Hand. And it's going to be him and the Punisher fighting the Hand in New York. And that's the movie.
Which, to be fair, sick premise.
Would have been great. Would have been awesome. Honestly, the Hand with just all the street level heroes like Daredevil and Spider-Man and the Punisher all fighting. We introduced like Luke Cage and just Iron Fist and just have everybody down there just beating ninja ass out in New York. It'd be incredible. That'd be so much fun. So that's what I was expecting. And then I went back and watched the trailer today. They tell you everything that's happening in this movie. There's almost no stone unturned in this. It really, I feel like, ruins a lot of moments. Like when the Punisher drives up in the car and he lands on it, I had no idea that's how he was going to meet the Punisher. I missed the thing where he shot him. It was funny when he shot him with the gun. I was not expecting it. All these things I was just not expecting. There's the scene at the end where he breaks the sword of the Hand guy. Didn't see it coming. It was in the trailer. Had no idea that's what was happening. So it was great. It was amazing not having the trailer. That being said, this movie's weird. This movie is very weird. And having not seen the trailer, it feels very, very random to watch this movie. I literally had no idea where it's coming. There's no real big bad except this mysterious thing that's hopping from person to person, which I get that's a premise that's neat. But I was like, how is he going to fight this guy? How is he going to punch this thing that's jumping from person to person? He's not going to be able to do it. So who's he punching in this? That was kind of my thing the whole time. It's like, who's going to get punched? And it was a little bit the Scorpion. It was a little bit the Hulk. It ended up being all of these ninja guys. Speaking of the video game, all these like guys, what's that company called? The evil government organization that he's battling in this.
Oh, Damage Control.
Damage Control. They have agents out there with those like stun batons, and it's just like the bad guys he fights in the PlayStation game.
Yeah,
right?
It's great.
And it's just great to see those little homages to stuff. But man, this movie's weird and random, and not knowing anything going in, I thought there were definitely some slow moments, but it all built great. And I don't know. Did the trailer, because you saw the trailer, you were aware of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. So coming at it from the other angle, I think obviously inarguably every single time you manage to do this, not see anything, you have the better experience. It's the way these things should be done.
Definitely.
My argument for why I keep watching them is that sometimes the trailer itself becomes part of pop culture. There are like the womps in the Inception trailer are the reason that all trailers still have womps. It's been 16 years of womp sound effects because of that trailer. Sometimes like a song. The one for this one was they didn't end up using in the movie, actually, I'm realizing. But the trailer song for this was like an orchestral mashup with LCD Sound System's New York, I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down, which was great, and saw LCD Sound System listen spike. And like, they're one of my favorite bands. So that's cool to see. Good for them. They're getting a paycheck. So I like that aspect of it. And I want to be aware of that aspect. But in this part, I feel like you framed it as though if you had seen that these things were coming in the trailer, it would have been easier for you to parse what was going on. That is not the case, my friend. Having seen the trailer, I went into this movie so worried because I was like, what the fuck is this movie possibly about? They've shown us way too many pieces. It's like a diner menu where you can order anything you want off this giant, like 16-page menu. Like, how are you going to do it? So the amazing part for me was to see the way that they did actually manage to craft a cohesive through line through this. I couldn't tell where it was going to go from any given moment to another. But the choices that they made always made sense for the narrative. So like seeing in advance, like, oh my God, we have the Hulk and the Punisher both in this movie. Why? But then realizing what Peter's grappling with in the film, and the fact that like any good movie that's grappling with its themes and trying to show you, arguments that align or misalign with the central dramatic argument, Punisher is there to show you what happens if you go full loner. He's there to say, hey, this is not a choice for me. You have a choice, you fucking idiot. Go pursue your friends again. So it's just awesome that every single person in here was actually there for a reason that fully made sense, even down to Florence Pugh at the end. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess she leads the New Avengers, so it makes sense she would be the authority he would get a hold of. But the fact that she has a personal vested interest at the end of this movie of dismantling an organization who is subjecting people to mind control against their will, it's pretty personal for her. It makes a lot of sense that it's Yelena. It's just like all these little connections that are like, damn, it's like the end of a great improv set.
It really is. It's all tied together. The Punisher one, I get. The Hulk one, I was wondering, is it like, like you don't want this life, like Dewey, you don't want any part of this, man. Is that the Hulk's role in this? Because Tom Holland invents this thing that's that's basically imitating the Hulk's inhibitor, and Bruce Banner's basically telling him not to do it or not to deal with it, or like, you don't want this life, man. This is crazy.
So I've done a lot of tracking down on the Hulk in this because the timeline's weird. And I think, if I'm right, I think this movie takes place before Shang-Chi, because at the end of Shang-Chi, Bruce Banner has his arm in a cast, which at the time I was like, oh, it's because, it's healing because he, it turned from the Hulk. At some point they mentioned that his arm couldn't heal in Hulk form. So he had to de-Hulkify so that he could heal his arm as Ruffalo. But when he is getting wheeled away in a stretcher in this, he's got his arm all bandaged and bundled up. So I was trying to parse like how everything worked with the Smart Hulk stuff and She-Hulk versus the fact that he is de-Hulkified in this. When he first hulks out, he is still Smart Hulk. Like when Jean takes control of him, Jean has taken control of Smart Hulk, like where Bruce is still in control. Then when Jean gets kicked out, that's when, as he's changing, he says, she broke something in me. And that's when the rampaging Hulk comes back out and the Hulk is significantly bigger. Like they play with the size to show that like this Hulk is more out of control. So this is the first time we've seen the rampaging Hulk since like, I don't know, Ragnarok. Like it's been like a solid 10 years since we saw this one.
Yeah, but so he was in a sling for Shang-Chi, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. He was Bruce Banner. He had his arm.
Well, then this all happens after Shang-Chi.
I think Shang-Chi happens after this because I think he gets his arm in a sling based on when he gets rocked at the end of this movie.
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
That's interesting. It's not from the Thanos snap. It's from this.
I think it's from this. We'll see. I mean, it would also be a good explanation for why they haven't brought Shang-Chi back yet, because fuck, man, it's been like 5 years. They got to bring back Shang-Chi.
I mean, that ending is the rings basically calling out into space. So it does kind of lead into this thing. Now Spider-Man's going to be in space. I think that's a good note, Kevin. That's a good idea. That's
Thank
pretty
you,
cool.
Tim. But
And
I think, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go for it.
I was just going to say, I think his presence thematically in the movie is what happens if you try to bottle up your aggression. So basically, like I said, we haven't seen the rampaging Hulk since 2010. We're being told that Bruce Banner got control of the Hulk and made an agreement with the Hulk, but it seems like he has just been using suppression tech that he developed in a lab to give himself the Hulk body, but with the full Bruce Banner mind, which is not an agreement that the Hulk would be happy about. So he's basically been bottling up the real rampaging Hulk for 10 years, which is why when it finally comes out, he's this gigantic, like 12-foot version of the Hulk we've never seen before. So I think he's the cautionary tale on the other side of like what happens if Peter just keeps bottling up all these like spider manifestations that are popping up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, especially because he's not really he's not Banner Hulk
right
in this. He's Bruce Banner with an inhibitor on. And that's different than him being in symbiosis with the Hulk and him having Bruce Banner's mind and the Hulk's body. That's like a symbiosis. That's not somebody like actively trying to suppress an aspect of them. And I think you're right, where it's like he's trying to suppress this thing. At a certain point, he can't control it anymore and it lashes out. I was kind of reading some more stuff about the Hulk online and people talking about the Hulk as a character and what kind of Hulk we should get in these movies. And I think one of the better explanations I saw was kind of like the Hulk. There is a version of a Hulk that's really just like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And just in the sense that they are feeling emotions, they're a raw nerve. And that they're feeling these big like emotions and they don't know how to process them. So the Hulk, I think World War Hulk's like a different character where he is locked in and here for revenge and intelligent and like on a mission. Then there's the conscious Hulk. Yeah, then there's the Hulk that like is sweet to animals, but then will also just smash a city apart because they're being mean to him, you know? Like I think that Hulk, it seems like that's kind of coming through a little bit where the Hulk kind of lets himself lose here, which is great, which is awesome because I'm not really sure. It doesn't really make sense for the Punisher and Spider-Man to fight the Hulk, but somehow it did in this. And I'm so impressed by that. They have these still shots of Spider-Man like swinging under him while the Punisher's shooting him with a gun. Makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. And yet it did make sense in this. And I think that's incredible. It's impressive. They keep knocking it out of the park with these Spider-Man movies. They're just tight. They make sense. There's an arc. And the pops in this movie when like stuff happened, like it was big. It wasn't like the most ruckus theater ever, but I mean, even at the end where he's dapping up Ned, that was like a crazy pop in the theater.
Man,
people loved it. And I'm thinking in hindsight, maybe these parts that drag make that pop even bigger. You know, that's like classic setup is just the more you build this thing, it might feel like a slog now, but that release at the end when it finally works, that's crazy. That's a great feeling. And you're feeling happy for this guy. I think too, another thing I saw, with the comic books was one of the gripes with the Spider-Man comic books nowadays is that it's a lot of just Spider-Man taking shit. You know, he lost MJ. MJ's got a boyfriend or whatever. I don't even know what's going on. But it sounds like it's a lot of Spider-Man just taking licks. And in the movies, they let Spider-Man win. Like every movie has a moment where Spider-Man is like coming back. You know, he gets the girl. He gets a win. He makes it there on time. You know, the movies end on like little uplifting moments. There's, you know, real connections with stuff. There's real friends. Spider-Man does experience joy, and Peter Parker is happy in these movies in a way that it doesn't sound like he is in the comic books.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They
modern comic books.
They make him less of an actual like out and out loser, especially in the Tom Holland ones.
Yeah.
I think they went a little too far in like Peter Parker's legitimately cool in the Andrew Garfield ones. He like fucking skateboards and he's like a good artist. And it's like, this guy just needs to get out of high school. Like he's going to go to college and crush it. Tom Holland is a really good balance. He's awkward, but he's not like just a complete and total dweeb.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not a dweeb. Toby was a dweeb. Andrew Garfield was too cool, which even then it sounded like, well, we're going to make him a cool skater because those are the nerds now. I feel like that was like and it's like, what are you talking about? Are you stupid?
Just the worst take of all time.
It's a terrible take. And Andrew Garfield's cool. I do like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but I feel like Tom Holland is maybe they've improved. Dude, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Toby's the first one, right? But maybe I kind of like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man maybe a little bit better than Toby's even. And then I kind of like Tom Holland's a little better than Andrew's. So, yeah. I mean, they're building on the formula.
What did you think of the Jean DeWolf stuff in this?
Like Jean Grey?
No, Jean DeWolf is the police captain that he works with.
Whatever. It's fine. It's a little corny. And I guess there was a period in the comics where he did work with a cop like that. It's a little silly that that's his only relationship and he's talking to her and she's like, you could take a break, you know, and then says hi to her kids at the end. Like it's cute and it serves a purpose in the story, but I don't love it necessarily.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like him having that kind of like mentor figure, but I like that he still has a lot of walls up at the beginning. And the idea, I mean, it is always a little strange the way that they play with Spider-Man's relationship to the police in New York City, where especially in this one where he's hacking cameras and doing facial recognition. And even the police captain is like, hey, that is not legal. So I'm going to choose to look the other way. Like, this is dicey. He's just casually doing the thing that makes Morgan Freeman want to quit in The Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah. And this is amidst like flock cameras going up everywhere so they can monitor us constantly. You know, like we are even more surveilled now than we have ever been. And they're just kind of making it like a little brush off where the cops like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And it's like, come on, the cops, if they're not doing it, they would if they could.
I think one of the big complaints I remember about the Spider-Man video game is that one of the sub quests or side quests or whatever in the first game is you have to go up and restore basically all these like flock camera relay towers throughout the city. And so many people are like, yeah, I can't advance in the game because I refuse to fucking do it.
I agree. I love all the TikToks where they're like, listen, unrelated to the flock cameras, here's how you cut through an aluminum pole.
Yeah.
circular saw. That's the answer.
Yeah, that stuff's strange. But if you put that aside, I do like his relationship with Jean DeWolf, and his whole temperament in this felt so realistic. You can feel that this is this guy who is really bottled up and really emotionally damaged from 4 years of watching his friends go to college without him on TikTok. He's just been lurking for like 4 years while he is holed up in an attic 3D printing shit.
It's brutal. And you really feel for him and it's depressing. And it's like, there's no way that this isn't a depressed man. Like you were just refusing any social contact. It's crazy. And it's going to have a negative effect on you. And watching his friends do this and he has to keep them safe. The safe argument is interesting, but that is kind of Peter Parker because Peter Parker does not have like the means of protecting all these people the way like a Thor or Iron Man does or whatever. So it does seem to be like a recurring thing with Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but it's a little disappointing. The Ned moment's great. The moments where him and MJ and Ned, while he's in the Spider-Man costume, are all hanging out and building Legos. Beautiful.
So good.
Love it. It's so nice.
So good.
They just still have chemistry. Like there is this thing. I also saw that MJ's wearing the Black Dahlia necklace. He got her. She doesn't know where she got it, I guess, but she's wearing it. And there's just all these things where they're just kind of, they have had an impact on their lives. And
Love that. It makes sense he'd be friends with Punisher in that situation too. Like, it makes sense that if anybody, he would probably keep bumping into this guy and they would have this uneasy alliance, but not having anybody else he can confide in, he would end up talking with the Punisher. That's very fun.
It's so tough. It's so tough. I like the Punisher in this. You know, it's nice to see him a little more fun. Maybe he should have been a little more angry. Maybe he shouldn't have been as so fun, I think. Maybe would have created greater contrast, but their chemistry is so good and it's fun. So I don't know. It's cool. I want to say with the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Interesting. How much do you really think we could have gotten out of the Scorpion, though?
I think the presentation of the Scorpion is underwhelming in this. The Scorpion in the comics is enhanced himself. Mm-hmm. Like, he is super strong. He's stronger and bigger and faster than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the classic, like, the suit got fused to him, though. Like, just like the Rhino. It's like, it is him.
Yeah. But this one is guy in a suit with a tail. Mm-hmm. And then it's just someone who's not as good as Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but he's 25% of a Doc Ock.
Exactly. But Doc Ock's thing is he's just a soft, meaty old man surrounded by these tentacles. This is an able-bodied normal guy with one cool tentacle. But then he is still just a soft, punchable human underneath. And the real Scorpion is not. And I feel like they could have gotten something out of like them actually beating the shit out of each other. It would have been nice if he'd been like enhanced and had been like a real threat to Spider-Man in that way. But yeah.
I can see it.
Seemed like a knockoff Doc Ock, which I don't think he necessarily is in the comics.
I was kind of hoping they would go with the ultimate version of the Scorpion, where instead of a tail bolted onto his ass, it's him with like this basically like crane claw that he throws on a chain, which is a cool, slightly less silly version of the whole situation. But in general, I did like the presentation of having a bunch of classic villains in there just for a quick couple punches and snapshots and cover recreations and then moving on.
Tombstone, great. So fun.
Yeah. So fun.
What do you think of Jean Grey?
I was hoping we would get here. We got a couple minutes left. I think Jean Grey is a character that is constantly fumbled in the comics and in movies. Jean Grey is right up there with me with the Invisible Woman for characters that are supposed to be crucial to Marvel Comics storylines that are usually just there because they are drawn as a hot woman. And it's just there to be like, wow, she's this bombshell redhead that's so in love with Cyclops, the actual character in this. They hardly ever flesh her out. Putting Sadie Sink in there is brilliant. She's a really good actor. She's able to get something out of this character and do something with the character that I'm really excited to see going forward. And I like that they started. I heard this as a theory from someone on one of the Ringer podcasts. I like that they started with Jean Grey as a villain in this movie. I know she's not a super hardcore villain, but like she's willing to kill people in this movie. And her use of her powers probably did cause a few deaths when she froze everybody in the city. Somebody was performing open heart surgery. Somebody died on the table in that area. So the idea that like maybe part of the reason that the X-Men are feared in the Marvel universe is because they have a little bit less control over their powers. And maybe some people get hurt when they use them. Like that's an interesting way to build onto that idea while still being able to play with relatable drama for us as the audience of like, yeah, I mean, everybody has accidentally done something because they didn't realize the consequences of it. So like, we'll still be able to relate to that. What did you think?
I think that's a great point. I don't want to stray too far into a potential Avengers movie because again, I am going no trailer. I've not seen anything. I don't know anything about this movie coming up. I think this is the best version of Jean Grey we've gotten in a movie. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. I feel bad for her. I can relate to her. She is not all powerful, right? She grows in power and she does some pretty wild shit, but you're right. She can't control it. And one of the original themes of the X-Men is they can't control this thing. Beams are shooting out of Cyclops' eye. He needs to learn how to control it. And I think in modern X-Men comics, it's not really about being in control. It's about being a superhero. And I do think kind of taking it back to these are kids or young adults who have to learn how to not be a danger to society is a fun way to take it if they keep going with Sadie Sink, who I think they should. I thought she was great. Jean's older sister, super fun. I liked it. I mean, I thought this was great. Yeah, and it's a nice reveal considering I was also kind of like, I had a theory since Sadie Sink was in this. It's probably Jean Grey, but yeah, the body jumping thing was pretty lame until I realized until it was like, oh no, this is Jean Grey. This is cool. And her messing with the Hulk and getting kicked out of the Hulk's mind and the Punisher and all that stuff. Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
It's fun, man. They're using all the chess pieces on the board.
But yeah, it's Jean Grey in general, boring as hell.
Yeah.
Terrible character.
I honestly,
no interest in Jean Grey.
Because of how I tend to not have interest in Jean Grey, when I heard about Sadie Sink and then being mysterious with her character, knowing that we're headed for some kind of a multiversal something, my money was on her being Spider-Girl, who's a character in the comics that is Spider-Man's daughter from the future with Mary Jane. I thought she was going to be Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst's daughter, Spider-Girl, from that universe, which like I was open to. I think it could have been fun, but seeing what they did with Jean Grey, big fan. Excited for X-Men. It's the same. The director of X-Men is the same guy who did Thunderbolts, which is also like, hell yeah.
That's good. That's good. I think I feel good about the X-Men. I think it's going to be good and fun whenever we get it. And yeah, this Jean Grey is cool as hell. I did want to point out, speaking of Doc Ock, when Peter Parker makes the inhibitor, he puts it on the back of his neck, just like Doc Ock has his.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was cool. You know, because there's that famous scene where he's like, this little chip is what keeps me from, losing control. And then he puts it right in the back of his neck, right where that was. I haven't seen anybody say that's an Easter egg, but I thought it was.
Dude, there's so many little connections throughout all the Tom Holland movies. We watched Homecoming first. There's more stuff in Homecoming that comes back in Brand New Day than you'd ever imagine. Damage Control's been there since the beginning. Michael Mando, the Scorpion, came from that first one. There's all kinds of little things.
There's another fall in this one. There's another fall in this where he's diving after MJ. Mm-hmm. The other one that I thought is neat is when they have Jean Grey prisoner, she's in this tiny room in a bigger room all spread out, which made me think of X2 Magneto, Glass Prison. Nice. And they have these wide shots and it reminded me of that and the treatment of that. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff. I feel like that was intentional. I feel like it's intentionally done. It's the same exact layout as Magneto's cell. And those are the kind of homages that I like, where it's not necessarily an Easter egg. It's not like a poster or like a character from that, but it's just a familiarity, right? It's the kind of thing where if someone's really in the flow state and really in the work and is absorbing all this other information, it just kind of slips into the movie, right? Yeah. Like it's so natural to have that there. Spider-Man's going to make an inhibitor. Of course it's going to go on the back of his neck. Like, of course it is.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think that kind of ties this whole thing together. It feels like everybody who is working on these movies, they're dialed in. Hopefully, again, because of how quickly this made $1 billion, they keep most of the same crew and bring it back. Because, man, I'll watch 14 more of these in the next 24 years for sure.
Same, man. These are great. Yeah, I'll watch them all. Anytime they come out, I'm there.
Anytime. Listener, what do you think? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We'll be back here again in 2 weeks, maybe with the Odyssey, maybe not.
Maybe.
We'll see. Probably not. But we'll see you then, whatever it is. Until then, stay nerdy, everybody.
Stay nerdy. Bye.